Have you ever woken up in the middle of the night and found your cat sitting completely still, just staring at you? Not moving, not blinking, just watching. Most people laugh it off. They call it creepy, snap a photo, and go back to sleep. But here's the thing. That stare is not random. It is not meaningless. And it is definitely not something you should be ignoring. Behind those unblinking eyes, your cat is communicating something most owners never take the time to understand. And depending on why they're doing it, the message could be urgent, deeply emotional, or reveal something about your relationship with your cat that will completely change how you see them. There's one reason in particular, we'll get to it at the end, that most cat owners discover too late. And once you hear it, you'll never look at your cat the same way again. Let's start at the beginning. 1. It was never about being creepy. When most people notice their cat staring at them while they sleep, their first reaction is discomfort. It feels strange, unsettling even. And the internet doesn't help, full of jokes about cats plotting against us, waiting for the right moment. But here's the thing. That framing, while funny, completely misses what's actually happening. Cats do not stare randomly. In the animal world, a long, unbroken stare is an intentional act. It requires focus. It requires a reason. Cats are not the kind of creatures who waste energy on nothing. So if your cat is sitting in the dark, eyes locked on your sleeping face, they made a choice to be there. They walked across the room, found a position, and decided, this is where I need to be right now. The question is why. Most people assume it's just a quirky cat thing, something they do without meaning. But behind that stillness, there's something deeper. And if you misunderstand it, you could be missing one of the most important signals your cat ever sends you. 2. They are standing guard and they take it seriously. Let's talk about something that might actually surprise you. Your cat, no matter how pampered, no matter how many years they've spent sleeping on memory foam and eating from ceramic bowls, still carries the instincts of a wild predator. And wild predators understand one thing above everything else: vulnerability. When you sleep, you become the most vulnerable version of yourself. Your eyes are closed. Your awareness drops. You cannot protect yourself. Your cat knows this. In wild cat colonies, bonded members take turns staying alert while others rest. It's not a behavior that was trained out of them when they became domestic. It's wired in. And for a cat who has bonded deeply with you, you are part of their colony. You are family. So when your cat sits beside your sleeping body and stares, part of what they're doing is watching, monitoring, making sure nothing comes for you in the night. They have assigned themselves a role you never asked them to take. And every night, without fail, they show up for it. Watch for this. If your cat positions themselves facing the bedroom door while staring, they are not staring at you. They are watching the entry point, guarding it. That distinction matters. And hey, if this is already changing how you see your cat, hit that like button and subscribe. It genuinely helps us reach more cat owners who want to understand what their cats are really saying. It takes 2 seconds and it means everything. 3. They are reading something in your face that you don't even know you're showing. This is the one most owners completely overlook. And once you understand it, you'll realize your cat has known things about you that you never told anyone. Here's what most people do. They notice the stare, feel mildly unsettled, and assume their cat is just being weird. They don't connect it to anything happening in their own life. They move on. But here's the thing. Your cat is not staring at you because they're bored. They are staring at you because something in your face, your breathing, your body language, changed. And they noticed before you did. Cats who are bonded with their owners become extraordinarily tuned in to that person's baseline. They know what your normal breathing sounds like. They know how your face looks when you're at rest. They have studied you, night after night, until they know your rhythms better than you do. So when something shifts, when your breathing becomes shallow, when your face tightens, when your body moves differently, your cat detects it. And they come closer to investigate. If you've been stressed, anxious, or coming down with something, your body is already showing signs. Your cortisol levels change. Your scent shifts slightly. Your movements become less fluid even in sleep. Your cat picks up on all of it. What the owner does, assumes the stare is random. What the cat perceives, a change in their person that needs monitoring. The hidden consequence, the cat's message goes completely unread, and a real signal, sometimes about your health, gets dismissed as a quirk. Do this instead the next time your cat stares at you and you catch them doing it. Think back. Were you unusually stressed that day? Did you sleep restlessly? Were you fighting something off? The answer, more often than not, will be yes. Your cat wasn't being creepy. They were paying attention. And what comes next is even more specific about what that stare can mean depending on when it happens. 4. The time of night they stare tells you everything. Not all stares are equal, and the timing of when your cat watches you says something very different depending on the hour. If your cat stares at you in the early hours of the morning, around dawn, that's rooted in biology. Cats are naturally wired to be most active at dawn and dusk. Their ancestors hunted at these hours. Their instincts fire up right as the sky begins to lighten. And for a bonded cat, you are the most interesting thing in the room. This stare is usually anticipation. They're awake. Their body is ready to move. And they're waiting, patiently or impatiently, for you to open your eyes so the day can begin. But if the staring happens in the deep middle of the night, 2, 3 in the morning, that carries a different weight entirely. Music. Middle of the night staring can signal that your cat heard or sensed something you didn't. Their hearing range is nearly 3 times wider than ours. They can detect sounds at frequencies completely beyond human perception. Something moved outside. Something shifted in the house. And before they reacted, they checked on you first. Pay attention to this. Is your cat's body relaxed when they stare, or are their ears rotating, their tail low, their muscles tight? A relaxed stare is curiosity or affection. A tense stare means they've picked up on something and are deciding how to respond. Most owners never make that distinction. They see the stare. They feel the discomfort. They look away. But the body language surrounding that stare is the real message. 5. They are trying to will you awake, and they have a reason. Here's something that will feel extremely familiar to cat owners. You're in a deep sleep. Suddenly, without any sound, without any touch, you just wake up, and there's your cat, sitting close, staring directly at you. Most people assume they woke up on their own. But there's growing evidence that cats can influence our waking state without making physical contact. The focused presence of a staring animal, particularly one close to your face, can register in human sleep at a subconscious level and pull you toward waking. Your cat may have learned this deliberately. If they want something, food, attention, reassurance, access to another room, and meowing hasn't worked, some cats shift strategies. They go still. They get close. They stare. And they wait for that stare to do the work. This sounds almost calculated, because it is. Cats are far more strategic than we give them credit for. They learn what works on you specifically, and they use it. But here's what matters beyond the surface level. A cat who stares you awake instead of simply leaving the room chose to stay near you. Even when they want something, they want it from you. That preference is not nothing. And if you misunderstand it, if you get frustrated and push them away repeatedly, you may be training them that coming to you doesn't work. Over time, some cats stop trying. And that silence, when it comes, is something most owners wish they'd paid more attention to. 6. Sometimes the stare is love, and it looks nothing like what you'd expect. In human relationships, a long, unblinking stare from someone you don't trust feels threatening. We are wired to read sustained eye contact as challenge or aggression when it comes from a stranger. But in a bonded cat, a slow and steady gaze directed at you while you sleep is one of the most intimate things they can offer. Here's the thing. Cats communicate trust through eye contact in a very specific way. The slow blink, that half-closed, lazy eye movement you may have seen your cat do, is a known signal of feline affection and relaxation. Researchers have confirmed that slow blinking back at your cat actually increases affiliative behavior. It works. It's real. But the full, unblinking gaze that happens while you sleep, that's a different expression of the same emotion. Your cat is not alarmed. They are not plotting. They are simply present with you, watching you exist, finding something in the sight of you that keeps them still and close. Some animal behaviorists describe this kind of nighttime watching as a form of companionate bonding, the same way humans feel comfortable sitting in comfortable silence with someone they deeply love. Your cat is sitting in silence with you. and they chose to be there. Watch for the soft eyes, the relaxed ears, the loose body. That stare is not terrifying. That stare is, in the quietest possible way, devotion. 7. When the staring suddenly stops, this is what it means. I mentioned this at the very beginning. A cat who stares at you while you sleep, does it consistently, and then one night, stops. This is the part most owners wish someone had told them sooner. Cats are creatures of deep habit. When a behavior they've repeated for months or years suddenly disappears, they are not being moody. They are not bored of you. Something changed, and they are telling you, in the only way they know how. Sometimes the reason is physical. A cat who is in pain or feeling unwell will instinctively withdraw. The same survival instinct that once drove them to watch over you now drives them to hide their own vulnerability. If your cat was a regular nighttime watcher and has suddenly become distant, sleeping in separate rooms, avoiding eye contact, consider a vet visit, especially if they are older. It may be nothing, but it may be something worth catching early. Other times the change is environmental. A new person in the home, a new pet, a shift in your own schedule or emotional state. Cats are acutely sensitive to changes in their territory and in the people they're bonded to. Something that feels minor to you may have registered as significant disruption to them. And sometimes, the staring stops because trust was broken somewhere. A moment of fear in the bedroom, a sudden loud noise, an interaction that felt threatening. Cats remember, and when a space stops feeling safe, they stop showing up in the ways they once did. The opening question of this video asked whether the stare was something terrifying. Here's the real answer. The stare itself is not terrifying. What's terrifying is the idea of it ending, and not knowing why. Because that stare, as unsettling as it looks in the dark, was your cat saying, I am here. I am watching. You are not alone. The night they stop saying that, that's when you should start paying attention. So the next time you wake up and find those eyes on you in the dark, don't look away. Look back. Slowly. Softly. Let them know you see them too. If your cat does any of these things while you sleep, watch this next video. What happens at 3 a.m. will completely change how you understand your cat.